Hi, my name is Brett Stevenson. I'm a doctoral student at Boise State University studying counselor education and supervision. This presentation will provide information regarding maintaining a routine and creating a routine. It is part 4 of a series of 5 presentations that provide education regarding general wellness. Well, let's get started. How does keeping a routine actually benefit us? And first of all, it creates predictability. As human beings, we like to be able to know what's going to be happening in the future. And particularly in times of stress and uncertainty, this can be important to creating an overall sense of well-being. It reduces the need to make continuous small decisions, which can really weigh us down over time. And it also helps us in setting and keeping priorities. It makes it so that we are more likely to engage in the activities that we consider overall the most important and account for those things. In keeping a routine, we can improve our work-life balance, meaning that we can make times for wellness activities such as physical exercise and perhaps meal planning, and also downtime. Most importantly, if you have children in your home, keeping a routine really helps children feel safe and reduces their anxiety. Children are more likely to thrive when they know what to expect. And when you are keeping a routine for yourself, it's much more likely that you're going to be keeping a routine for your children as well. Without a routine or a schedule, individuals are more likely to experience a variety of problems. These include increased stress in their lives, unstable sleeping patterns and poor quality of sleep. Also poor quality eating habits. They might find that they have unstable eating times and also that they don't make a plan for how and what they're going to eat. Those who don't keep a schedule also are likely to have reduced physical health and reduced engagement in physical activities. And then finally, really poor time management. It makes it so they don't necessarily get the things done that they would like to get done. So these are all reasons to really institute some kind of schedule or routine in your life. How to make a schedule. Now, this can be one of the most difficult things for people to really think about and do. And planning ahead can be really important. The first step is brainstorming what things are important to you and for those in your life. So you want to outline those things, and you want to consider all the things that are not just necessary, also desirable. So yes, work is important. Yes, meals are important. Yes, sleep is important. All of those things really have to happen. But there are other things that make your quality of life better. It's how you're going to eat, who you'll spend your time with, your hobbies, those kinds of things. And we're going to go into a little greater detail about that. As I said before, considering the other members of your family is really important, including your significant other, if you happen to be living with someone who, and children as well, and considering what their schedules and what their needs might look like. This can be important for a couple of reasons. Number one, if you're planning on having those people be part of what your routine is, it's going to be a basic necessity to be able to communicate with them about that. But number two, if you're all kind of working in sync, you can support each other in successfully keeping the schedule. So what things might be important to you? Well, first, your morning routine, how you'll start your day. It's important to think about what are the things that you'd like to have happen before you get going in the morning. Do you like 10 or 15 minutes to be thoughtful and think? Do you like a half hour or an hour to kind of get yourself ready? Is this a time when you like to dedicate yourself to exercising solo? These are all kind of things to think about. What is that morning going to look like for you when you first get up? It can really start your day in a certain direction. Another thing to think about is physical exercise. When can you incorporate that into your schedule? Some people like to do it at the beginning of the day, and others like to put it near the end. Some people take a break during lunchtime. Think about when it's most likely for you to be able to engage in that activity, and if there's others that you like to share that activity with, see if they can fit it into their schedule as well. The next one is meals, and it's important to think about not just when you'll eat, but begin to think about how you'll manage what you'll eat and with whom. Who's going to be the cook in your household? If you're living solo, it's obviously you, but are you going to order in on certain days or certain meals? or perhaps to go pick up something and carry out for particular days? Or do you want to arrange at least once a week, if you're living on your own, to meet with someone and video chat while you eat? All these things are important things to think about and to maybe communicate with others how you want to have those things happen. Social connectedness and relationships. Very often, our day-to-day responsibilities can really encroach on our social connectedness and relationships. And scheduling it for some people seems like it kind of reduces the spontaneity or the fun of it. But in reality, at a certain point in our lives, in order to have that social connectedness and those relationships, there comes a time when sometimes we just have to schedule it. Whether it's a family evening when you all watch a movie together, or when it's a time you might all go for a walk. Actually putting that down as a quality time that you're going to be spending with others can be really, really important. You don't want to forget about time for hobbies and enjoyable activities, even solo. A lot of times people feel guilty around these activities, but they really contribute to our overall wellness when we're not just working and fulfilling responsibilities. We don't have to be great at anything. It doesn't have to be anything that we become a master at, but creating time to be able to learn new things and to dedicate ourselves to activities that engage other parts of our character, personality, and expression. It can be creative, it can be athletic, and that can even be reading. All of those things can really bring in and increase our quality of life. So schedule, and maybe we should have said this at the very beginning, but sometimes we forget about this. It seems obvious. Schedule your regular work hours, even if you're working from home. And in fact, I would say especially if you're working from home. And let those that you live with know that those are your working hours. Communicate with them the importance of you completing those hours in that time. And also communicate with them about the time you'll be able to spend with them outside of those working hours. Finally, schedule your evening routine and your bedtime. Figure out what you want that to look like and then really put it in there. So it might be that every night you want to be in bed by 10:30, 11 o'clock. What's it going to take for you to be able to do that? And I realize that sounds kind of early. It might be midnight. But how far in advance are you going to need to kind of start your bedtime routine to know that you're finally shutting out the lights at the time that you actually want to go to bed? So go into some detail. Begin to do some problem solving about the things and the barriers that have happened in the past when you tried to institute some of these changes. How to stick to the schedule. Now, this can be the most crucial point. You can go through all the work of brainstorming and creating the schedule, but sticking to it is really the tough part for a lot of folks. First of all, make it visible by writing it down and even entering it into your digital calendar if you have one, or if you have a physical calendar. It might mean for a while that you put a physical calendar up in a very prominent place in your home so that you can see it daily, in the morning and in the evening, and where you can keep track of the things. Maybe you want it in both places. You want it entered into your digital calendar where you can see it when you get on your work, when you begin to work each day. And then also perhaps on a physical calendar that hangs on a wall. This sounds like a lot, but the more you kind of have it in front of you, the more you're going to be conscious of wanting to really keep this schedule. You want to create reminders for yourself, particularly around activities that kind of have been difficult for you in the past. This could be Post-it notes. This could be using apps on your phone, and this could be to-do lists. So it could be in any way where you're kind of creating little bits and pieces for yourself to remember to engage in certain activities. Finally, chart your successes. Let's say you've gone ahead and decided that you're going to chart an exercise routine. Each day on your calendar or on your chart, put down how much you exercised that day and what goals you met, and put it in a place where you can kind of track that success and really feel accountable to it. One of the things that can be really important is instituting a daily mindfulness or meditation practice. This doesn't have to take a lot. We're talking 5 minutes at the most, maybe 10 if you really, really want to dedicate yourself to it. But bringing yourself back to mindfulness, into a mindful state, will allow you to think about the things that you truly want to be doing with your day and bring you back into focus of these goals that you've set for yourself. This can be accomplished by, there are several simple books out there that you can read about mindfulness, websites, but particularly apps on your phone can also help you with this. Finally, be compassionate with yourself and with the others that you're living with. Sometimes we can get so intent on setting these goals that we can forget that it's okay not to do it perfectly. And in fact, success comes from accepting the fact that we're not going to do it perfectly. It can be a big barrier when we think if we miss one day, then we've gotten it all wrong and we're not going to get it right. Allowing yourself times and flexibility when the situations allow will lead you to greater dedication rather than abandoning it altogether. Thank you for viewing this presentation. As said at the beginning, this is part of a larger group of presentations that address general wellness. The other presentations address physical activity, sleep, diet and nutrition, and social connectedness.